Okay, so thank you for tuning into my channel. I'm Master Lukey. I'm a former UFC fighter, and I came up with a new regulatory system for MMA with no head contact and scoring for action instead of damage. So it's called Master Lukey's League of Champions, and it's not only a system of fighting, but it's also its own training and ranking system. And today's video is a training, technique. This one's called the switch kick. So I wanted to make this video to teach the proper way to do a switch kick, because I see a lot of people doing it where they'll switch, but then they'll bring the leg back and end up in the same side fighting stance. And that's not really the proper way to do it, because when you switch kick, you actually are supposed to end up in a switch stance. When you do your normal kick, you end up in your normal stance. So when you switch, you're switching your stance. The kick starts and ends in the same spot. And go back to the beginning of the video and you can practice your switch kick where you're switching, and when you do your switch, you're in an opposite stance. You do your kick, you end up in that stance again. Then you switch and do the same thing on the other side. You can't always do a switch kick and end up in the same leg forward stance, because you're actually adding a step where you can go and watch other people do switch kick on YouTube or Instagram, whatever, and you can see how they'll do the switch, but then as the kick is coming back, they're stepping and they're adding a step to recover into their normal fighting stance. So if you watch the combo that I just did on the bag, that's a build-a combo. That's one of my patented training techniques where each minute the interval bell is ringing and I'm adding something to the combo. But go back and look at that combo. I put a switch kick, I end up in an opposite fighting stance, and then I'll throw another few punches in that opposite fighting stance. You have to be able to work from both sides. You can't just have only one side. If you have a strong side, that means you have a weak side. And martial arts is supposed to teach balance. You want to be equally proficient and strong on both sides. So here's a drill to develop your punching strength and endurance on both sides. It's called the cross hook series. And what I did already, if you watched, was 10 push-ups. I started with one cross, I added a hook, and then I went all the way up to 10 crosses and hooks. Then I did 20 push-ups. And then I'm going to do cross hook series times 2. Alright, this is my second private in a row. When I do my lessons with my students, I work out with them. So the first lesson, we already did 5 sets of push-ups using the TRX. At this point, my chest is cooked, completely cooked. So that's why I look pretty weak on the push-ups here. Not that I'm making excuses, I don't have a problem with weakness. Because in order to become strong, you have to be weak. You have to be weak first, and then you can build strength. Okay, so if you're only good on one side, that's okay. That gives you something to work on. That's what the journey of self-improvement is about. And that's really the true spirit of martial arts. Is finding the weakness and turning that into a strength. So when you find your limit on push-ups, drop to your knees and squeeze out some more push-ups. And I've been doing martial arts for 25 years and I'm still improving. The one thing that I noticed even watching this video is my southpaw cross. I'm bringing my elbow up instead of keeping my elbow down and punching, down the pipe. What they would call down the pipe here. You can see better on my right cross is better because this is the side that I worked all through my professional fighting career. This was my strong side. So it's much stronger, even though I don't really work on it that much anymore because I'm trying to balance myself out. So ever since I stopped fighting professionally, in the UFC and stuff, I started to work southpaw. Anyway, I'm still fighting, although I changed the regulatory system, to be able to continue without traumatic brain injury. And I'm launching a tour. First, I'm going to do the eastern seaboard of the United States, and then I'm going to go across the country and the world. So, if you want to get involved, connect with me on my website, masterluki.com.